Who you going with?
A double mistake by Tim Ream there, right? Gives the ball away and then tries to clear it, clears it into the attacker's foot. It's unlucky right there. But I am going, there's a lot of good candidates. This one is sad. I'm going to go with Tyler Adams. It's not just the worst weekend. It may turn into the worst year for Tyler Adams and the U.S. men's national team. Tyler Adams hasn't played since March. That's 6 months. Non-invasive surgery on a hamstring. I don't know the extent of the injury, if it was the muscle torn off the bone or the tendon or what had happened, but 6 months for a muscular injury is crazy. And when you play 20 minutes, off the bench 20 minutes, and I don't know if it happened during that game or the next day in a training or whatever the case may be, you're back out. I have to question Bournemouth and the medical staff. I have to question if he was rushed out. I have to question if the right procedures were done to make sure that a player of this caliber, a player who's important for them, was helped in the way where he would be led back on the field in a timely fashion. Because when you go under the knife for a muscular injury, that's last resort. You're doing it because you really want to clear something up. So the last thing you want to do is rush anything. Now, 6 months doesn't seem rushed. I am questioning everything now when it comes to Tyler Adams. We have seen his lack of health in the past, whether it's Leipzig, whether it's Leeds, whether it's the U.S. men's national team, and he's only 24 years of age. Say what you will if you're a U.S. men's national team fan and what Eunice and Luca and Weston and whoever else may have played there without Tyler Adams. You have not found a solution for no Tyler Adams. You may have gone 2 games, if you will, with the Eunice Weston, Gio Reyna partnership that looked good at the CONCACAF level, but you're talking about the team captain and one of the standout performers in the 2022 World Cup. So when you talk about Tyler Adams, I'm talking about a player, for me, that's irreplaceable. So this one stings. He's 24 years of age and see him on the mend again this soon. That is worrisome.
Yeah. I actually, to be honest, I thought you would have taken more solace in what we saw in the Nations League, right? We did a million segments when Tyler Adams was part of this team during the run-up to the World Cup about who was the most important player. And he was almost always, almost unanimously hurt. The choice. And then he backed it up with the performance at the World Cup. I don't think anybody could argue that at that high level, that he was just a huge part of what the U.S. was able to accomplish in Qatar. But when you see what they were able to do against Mexico and against Canada, which I think we both said was the high watermark in terms of how good the team has looked, I thought you would have taken more solace moving forward that maybe this team would not be better without Tyler Adams, of course, but it could at least survive a while without Tyler Adams. You don't take something from that? From that Nations League?
Can I ask you something? Is this the worst generation of Mexican players you've ever seen?
Yeah, but they also looked really good against Canada. They also looked really good against Canada.
That Canada impressed you? That's not the worst generation of... That Canada impressed you?
That's the Canada team that made it to the World Cup for the first time in 36 years.
Did that Canada ever threaten the U.S.? So what I'm trying to say here, and I said it when I explained it...
Exactly, the team looked great without him. That's my point.
At the CONCACAF level, okay? With Tyler Adams, you have somebody that's shown it at the world's level. When they had their best game of the World Cup, who was it against? It was against England. Where was Tyler Adams? Right there, manning the ship. Tyler Adams, ungratefully to some fans, they think him of being easily replaceable. That's not the case. Yunus Musa is a very good player. Weston McKennie are very good players, but it's taking 2 of those players to do Tyler Adams' job. And it will remain to be seen if they could do it at a higher level. It's not their positions. Now, I guess we're going to have to find out.
All right, well, Tyler Adams' bad weekend kind of comes for off-the-field reasons. I'm going to go with Matt Turner here for my bad weekend. Obviously, on the mistake there that you see, I mean, he is extremely lucky, Herc. I mean, this could have been a goal, should have been a penalty. I don't know, might have even been a red card if they'd have done it right. I mean, VAR had a shocking weekend in England. We all saw what happened between Spurs and Liverpool, but Matt Turner definitely got away with one here. He said as much after the game. Also, on the goal itself, he said, I've got to look myself in the mirror. I got to be better for my teammates. So on that goal right there where you see him get a touch, Matt Turner after the game is kind of pointing the finger at himself. primarily, though, this is not just about Matt Turner's performance. It's about the fact that Nottingham Forest just spent 8 million euros on a 29-year-old goalie with Champions League experience. And Nottingham Forest is not spending 8 million euros on a goalie for him to be a backup. That's about what they spent on Matt Turner. And they brought him in to be the starter. So I think this is real competition. And I think if you're a club like Nottingham Forest and you spend that kind of money, Herc, you are probably going to want to get a look at your investment. And right now, with Matt Turner having games like this, he's opening the door for Nottingham Forest. He's saying, hey, by the way, you want to look at that expensive goalie that you just brought in that's sitting on the bench? Maybe there's a reason to do it. I know, Herc, I know Memo shipped 4. And right now, Memo may be playing worse than Matt Turner. But I don't think Memo Ochoa is in danger of losing his job. And I think Matt Turner, if these performances keep up, has some real serious competition on that bench for Nottingham
I wouldn't
Forest.
say Memo's not in danger of losing his job. They get relegated, he's not going to stay in the Serie B. I'll guarantee you that.
Well, he loses his job at Salernitana, but that's next year. I'm talking about right now, this year. I think Matt Turner has very serious competition.
Listen, I'm not going to disagree that he had a bad week. That should have been a penalty kick. That was a bad goal he gave up. Bad goal for Matt Turner's status, for who he is, for the bar that he has set for himself and he has shown us. When you have competition and you play bad, you do open the door, for the coach to make a decision. So, yeah, this was a bad weekend for him, and hopefully it stays at that. But to disregard not only the bad weekend, but that bad year that Memo Ochoa is having, and we spoke about this in pre-prod, that's concerning in itself. Salernitana, I mean, they may set a record for how fast they go down to Serie B and how many goals they ship in. Lautaro Martinez may have scored 4. You forgot to mention, not only was it a 20-minute span, but he came out as a second-half substitute. He was historical in that.
There it is. Not a great weekend for Memo Ochoa, not for Matt Turner either. Odysseus Vlachodimos, the goalie that just signed for Nottingham Forest, Greek international.